So now we're going to do some batching for our asphalt. Asphalt's comprised of a lot of different aggregates. We have 4 different aggregates that we're using for our mix design. And so we have samples we're going to make. We're going to make 2 identical large samples and 1 smaller sample for other tests you'll see in later weeks. And so we have a batching sheet here. I'm going to show y'all what it looks like. So we've got our 4 aggregate types and the weights for each of those. The G&B is our large sample, ends up being 4,650 grams. The small sample is 1,500. So our 89 granite is this one right here. It's pretty coarse. It's not as big as that limestone that we tested in previous labs, but it's still the coarse aggregate that we're using for ours. And the 89 is just the grade that it has. So if you go to a plant, they might have 89 in limestone, and it's based on that size and this gradation. So that's how they specify it. Shorter sand, this is just sand here. I guess shorter is where it comes from. So we will need 1,302 grams for the large and 420 for the small. Then we have our M10 granite. Again, M10 is just the gradation of it, so it's pretty fine. But it does it's kind of a variation of different sizes in there. And then the limestone of that is M10, and it's the same thing. It's just limestone, not granite this time. So it's got some dusty particles in it and some coarser particles in it, but not too big. So what we'll do is we want to weigh out these samples according to that sheet. So I will first start by turning on my scale and zeroing out my 10 until it hits 0. There we go. All right, so now I want 1,674 grams for granite. So the way you do this is you don't want to just scoop off the top. If you scoop off the top, then you're not getting the full sample because smaller particles could fall to the bottom underneath these coarse ones. That's what segregation is. So what you want to do before you scoop anything is you want to mix it up together as much as you can, homogenize it. So I'll do that real quick. So you want to scoop it up and flip it. You want to toss it together in itself. So now that we've done that, I want to get a nice big scoop. You see I'm using a flat scoop. That way I can get any fines on the bottom because we want to get a complete sample. We don't just want one size of this stuff. So I'll scrape from the bottom and then I'll dump it into here and see if I can hit 1674. So see, I did a nice flat scrape on the bottom. Okay, so that was too much. A little bit less. All right, so now I'm pretty close, but what I'm gonna do, try and scoop out some. There we go, 1674.2. So it is not the best to use your hand to take it out, but when you're trying to get a sample, you're not always going to get it perfect. It's going to have some segregation in it. So now we've got that 1674. Let me re-zero it. And now I need to add in 837 grams of M10 limestone. So same thing. Here we go. I got to flip it and toss it around. Alright, so now I need 837. I think that's probably pretty good. I hope that this fits. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I will use this right here, just in case I mess up, because I don't want to put too much in there. Oops, that's too much. So now, $837 is what we're trying to hit. Here we go, 837. Now we'll put this sample in here. 837 for M10 granite. We'll flip it. It's too much, but that's okay. We'll see what we can do. There we go. And then the last one is our sand. We need 1,302. So sand doesn't really segregate. It's all kind of the same size, but we can still toss it. All right. Let's see. I think that should be good right there. Woo! 1,302. So take off a little bit more. All right, 1,302.3. Close enough. All right. So that's our large sample. We'll do the exact same thing for our second sample, and then for the smaller one, you just follow the same thing. It's based on percentages. So 36% granite, 18% limestone, 18% M10 granite, 28% sand. So it's just based on that, and we'll come up to the same thing in a smaller tin, and that's used for a different test. So that is how we do batching.